I guess that's life in the big city, huh? They say there's no rest for us. Won't you hit this road with me, shawty? You can stand up in the sunroof, let your head down, let the wind hit your face, and just breathe, breathe, breathe.
Everything, but everything was never enough. My heart, my soul, the good, the bad, all that I am, everything. What more could you want from me? Oh, let it breathe.
Yeah, you know the life. Rapping's my occupation, my pedigree is a different type. For those shaking them dice, this is theme music, 2 quarters, little bit of game.
What's going on, Commandos? It's your brother Bike Life Commando coming at you from the soggy coastal empire of Savannah, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're out here dealing with these rainstorms. I think we're gonna rain up. It's Saturday now, but I think it's gonna rain all the way out till Monday evening. So we're getting that rainy season starting out here, the beginning of that hurricane season. But I just wanted to talk to you guys a bit about, you know, riding your motorcycle. So I particularly ride pretty much everywhere, right? I mean, I took my lowrider within the first 5 months or 4 months of having it. And, you know, I took her across to Arizona. I got about 15,355 miles on this bad boy. On Casper, and this is just since June, right? On Casper, I have a good bit of miles too. I think I want to say I'm in the 6,000 range on Casper. So, yeah, I've done over 6,202 miles on Casper since I bought him in December. So, I'm basically saying, you know, I ride, right? And I plan on riding. I ride everywhere. I ride to the store. I ride to, you know, restaurants, meetings, trainings, work. My job provides me with a car, and I still ride to work. I leave my car at work. That's how much I like to ride, right? And even in this rainstorm right now, I mean, yeah, I don't start out in the rain, but had I been caught out in the rain, it wouldn't even affected me. You know what I'm saying? I would have left the house and, you know, been okay coming home in the rain. And when I say I don't start out in the rain, what I mean is unless I have to be somewhere that requires my presence, I'm probably not going to leave right away. I'm going to probably try to wait until that rain lets up a little bit. But I am not afraid to ride in the rain. Don't like it. I'm not going to lie. I don't know too many bikers that do. That's probably the only aspect of riding that I don't really get down too hard with, and that's that rain riding. But you got to practice in the rain too, because it's inevitable. You will be caught in the rain. Now, I will tell you this, as an avid rider who's brand new to the touring bike community, I will tell you this, you know, you need to practice in the rain as much as you need to practice on the, you know, when it's dry. And I'm not saying go out, find a rainstorm to ride in. I'm simply saying is you got to understand your machine and the variables that come with riding in the rain. You know, some of these bikes come with rain modes, but your older bikes, they don't, right? They don't come with rain mode. They come with, you know, your hand, the throttle, and common sense. But I thought I would come out here and holler at y'all, given that this rain is real steady right now, right? I don't know if y'all can see it real good, but it's pretty steady out there. There's some steady rain we got going on, you know? And I think I'd come out here and holler at you and just really just reach out to the Commandos and encourage those who have motorcycles to ride their ride. I got a friend, my guy Bud, he and I were talking last night, and I hope he don't mind me sharing. Now, he just bought himself a brand new touring bike, right? And it's a pretty heavy bike that he's, you know, heavier than he's used to. And he was coming off a Sportster. My man Bud, you know, I told him, I tried to encourage him because, you know, by no means, and I told him, I'm no expert, but you got to get out here and whip that thing around. Because I was the first one to tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you rather, that when I went from the lowrider ST to Casper, and as you can see them side by side right there, there is a huge size difference, you know, in regards to the vehicle's weight and manageability. But now I feel very comfortable on my pursuit. I feel very comfortable. It's a big bike, So get out here and practice. And I guess the point of my conversation here today is really get out and practice with your bike. And as always, you already know, I created a list, right? I got 6 things that I believe as a new rider we should be conscious of, or a returning rider who hasn't ridden in a while, over a couple of decades, a decade or so. And I made a list, so it's on my phone here, right? So, you're riding faster than you can react. Your brain sees something, but then you don't put it together right away. It takes a second to be like, oh, something's happening. So if you're riding too fast and you're not able to react in an appropriate amount of time, that can be a problem for you. If you're entering a corner, or you need to stop quick because a vehicle stops short in front of you. These things take a certain amount of skill that we are still developing as returning and new riders, right? Also, you're relying on luck more than technique. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier when Mr. Simmons, Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle, YouTubers, he says, if you got time to ride, you got time to practice. Get out there and practice, man. I'm actually an advocate for that, man. If you had a situation when you said, I'm glad I made it through that, then guess what? You were riding on luck, okay? And I'm sure we all say that. Hell, I've said it. I'm not even going to deny it, right? So we got to be a little bit more careful in how we ride. Practice your ride, right? You're not looking far enough ahead. I remember taking the MSF course, and they teach you about that 4-way intersection and people coming across and everything and looking for an escape route. These are important techniques that you need to continue to make, continue to do as you're riding. Never get so complacent thinking that the flow of traffic is the flow of traffic. Trust no one around you when you're riding your motorcycle. You can only take care of you, okay? Number 4, you're dragging hard parts unintentionally. Listen, if you're cornering or you're leaning so much that you start scraping regularly, I'm not talking about that occasional, that little scrape here and there. I'm talking about if you're doing that regularly, it's not really a good thing. So consider that you maybe you need to work on your technique a little bit more. You're exceeding your basic comfort zone or your cornering zone when you're scratching your pegs or you're scratching your floorboards. Think about that, right? Also, you're panic braking or making mid-turn corrections, right? These are signs you've entered a situation without a solid plan, right? So if you start, oh my God, grab your clutch, grab your brake. I've done this too. So I'm not just talking. I'm not an expert. I've done this recently, right? So I'm not even going to tell you I didn't do it, right? And so, but we got to work on it, and that's why we're having this conversation. And I'm telling you, if you grab that brake and that clutch and that foot, I tell you what. What's the point of disengaging the engine in the middle of emergency braking, right? If you disengage the engine, then there's no power to the wheel, and when you need to give it throttle, guess what? You ain't got no power, right? So think about that, right? Number 6, you feel mentally and physically tense. If you have a grenade grip on the handle, on your throttle, and your brake, and your brake handle, listen, your clutch handle rather, you gotta relax. That's gonna mess up your ride because you're not mentally in a space where you're really in control. You're more worried about everyone around you, everything around you. You have to do it simultaneously. My boss is an avid rider. He's an old retired Buffalo Soldier motorcycle club member, and he's still, he's a retired member now. He still participates once in a while and everything. And I think he told me he rode for like 30 years or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember how long he rode. But the point is, I was doing something stupid in the beginning, right? So every time I came to a 4-way intersection, I would hit my 4-ways so my lights would flash, right? And yeah, there's people that have devices that do that. They flicker their lights and all that. But I was hitting the 4-ways like intentionally. I knew I was coming to like an intersection or a certain, stop sign section. I would hit so when I thought it was making people see me more, right? Well, here's the thing. I was concentrating more on that than the ride. And that's what he let me know. He said, listen, you can't enjoy your ride if you're worried about the intersections. Do what you're trained to do. Do what you are practicing to do. And if you're not practicing, then you really need to go get practice. I highly recommend Harley's MSF course or a MSF course. I highly recommend. I took Harley's course. I plan on taking a couple of more courses. I talked about their intermediate, and I think they even have a trike course. I've talked about that. I highly recommend that if you're not comfortable with the ride, that you should, in fact, take one of these courses. I don't care who you take it through, just take one. Be safe. I know the military, most military installations, they require you to take a course, a safety course. So, and it helps you with your insurance as well. So get yourself a course, stay cool and stay easy, and try not to be tense. And those are my 6 things that I believe, lead to individuals overriding their vehicle. Listen, you know what it is. If you got a bike in your garage collecting dust, pull it out, dust it off, gas it up, and enjoy the ride.
They said there's no rest for us. Won't you hit this road with me, shawty? You can stand up in the sunroof, let your head down, let the wind hit your face, and just breathe, breathe, breathe.
Everything, but everything was never